Welcome, seekers of light, to old Buddhist philosophy. As we step into the sacred moonlit corridor of July, the air begins to shimmer with unseen energy. This is no ordinary passage of time. It is a spiritual corridor between past karma and future miracles. The winds are softer now, yet charged with something deeper. The universe isn't speaking loudly, it's whispering through signs, synchronicities, and sacred numbers meant only for those whose hearts have grown quiet enough to listen. July, in the lens of ancient Buddhist timekeeping, is not simply the seventh month, it is the seventh chamber, where the soul pauses and listens before ascending. It is the month of reflection, karmic turning, and energetic preparation. In the stillness of this sacred cycle, the seen and the unseen begin to merge, and those aligned with the inner eye begin to feel the subtle shifts. What once felt uncertain now pulses with deeper clarity. What once felt like delay may now reveal itself as divine orchestration. This month does not roar, it hums, a sacred sound, soft and circular, winding through your intuition, asking you not to chase, but to align. The veil between timelines is thinner than usual, and those who are sensitive will notice patterns repeating, dreams intensifying, and certain numbers appearing again and again. These are not accidents, they are vibrations, echoes from the universe, keys to your personal portal of transformation. 6 sacred numbers and 1 cosmic master key are quietly rising from the heart of this month. These are not random digits, they are divine invitations. They do not promise fame or instant change. They offer something far more powerful: alignment, wisdom, and energetic remembrance of who you truly are. Baba Vanga once warned that in a time of great noise, only the symbols will speak the truth. Nostradamus, too, hinted in his verses that certain cycles within the calendar hold mysteries beyond logic. Frequencies meant only for awakened souls. Their words were not superstition, they were sacred maps, meant for times exactly like now. If these numbers are crossing your path, it is not coincidence, it is convergence. You are being called not just to observe, but to embody, not just to hope, but to listen, not just to wait, but to So now, in full presence, let us walk gently through each of these sacred vibrations, one by one, like sutras written not on parchment, but in light. Are you ready to remember? Number 2, the mirror of duality. We begin our journey through July's sacred current with the quiet power of number 2, the ancient emblem of duality, balance, and sacred reflection. It arrives not with thunder, but with the soft hush of dawn. Like a still pond mirroring the sky, this number reveals what has long been hidden beneath our thoughts, our actions, and the roles we play in the theater of life. It is not a number of force, but of resonance, of invitation, of becoming aware. 2 is the bridge between self and other, between yin and yang, between the external noise and the internal knowing. In the teachings of the Buddha, it reflects the essence of the middle way, a path that avoids extremes, honors impermanence, and seeks wisdom not in struggle, but in stillness. Number 2 speaks in the language of grace. It does not demand, it listens, it does not conquer, it allows. This number reminds us, nothing in this universe exists alone. Every breath we take is in dialogue with the world. In the great cosmic unfolding, number 2 is the sacred pair, the lover and the beloved, the moon and the tide, the giver and the receiver. It teaches that separation is an illusion crafted by the ego, and unity begins when we look not to dominate, but to understand. It asks, can you hold space for both sorrow and joy? Can you allow your shadow to sit beside your light and not turn away? The mystics, Baba Vanga, Nostradamus, and those before them, understood the quiet revolution of this number. They knew that when 2 appears, we are being shown the mirror of our soul, not to judge, not to correct, but to finally see. When you gaze into the mirror of number 2, you are not looking at your flaws, you are witnessing the divine symmetry of your spirit's journey. You are being asked to respond not from fear, but from deep presence. In the lunar rhythm of this July, number 2 carries a profound message. Step back from the noise. Let go of the need to be right, or certain, or first. The path to peace will not open through resistance, but through surrender, through allowing, through listening with your whole being. What you're clinging to may be blocking the very love or clarity that seeks to enter your life. And perhaps this is what the universe most longs to teach you now, not how to win, but how to merge, not how to control, but how to co-create. To live not in reaction, but in awareness. To let your soul speak gently with the world around you. This is not a lesson in logic, but in vibration. And number 2 is the tuning fork that brings your inner chaos into divine resonance. So pause now, just for a moment, beneath this sacred July sky. Close your eyes, feel the opposing forces within you, your fear and your faith, your longing and your patience, your anger and your love. Hold them both without resistance, and ask yourself, with reverence and care, where in your life are you resisting the harmony that is quietly trying to unfold? Number 5, the storm of change. Now beneath the restless skies of July arrives the number 5, the sacred storm, the divine rebellion, the whirlwind that shakes loose all illusions of permanence. It does not knock gently, it arrives like thunder across a still field, reminding the soul that stagnation is a form of sleep, and growth always begins with a stirring. 5 is not here to soothe, it is here to awake. In the language of the cosmos, number 5 is the energy of transformation, ruled by Mercury, the swift-footed messenger who dances between worlds. When this number appears, something deep begins to move, internally and externally. Suddenly, what once fit no longer holds. What once made sense begins to dissolve. It is a number that disorients only so that you may find your true direction, a sacred disruption, a necessary disassembly of what no longer serves your highest unfolding. Buddhist teachings hold impermanence not as a curse, but as a cornerstone of wisdom. All is fleeting, and in that fleetingness lies the truth. Number 5 reminds us of this deeply spiritual truth. Nothing is meant to stay the same. The self you were yesterday is already gone. The pain you carry today will soon soften into memory. The life you imagine is reshaping itself even now, behind the veil of your current awareness. In this powerful cycle of July, number 5 appears like a wild wind in the trees, rattling your soul's windows, urging you to rise. Perhaps it arrives as a sudden opportunity, a surprising message, or a long overdue ending. Perhaps it's a dream that won't release its grip, a restlessness in your spirit, a door creaking open without you even knocking. Don't be afraid. This is not chaos. It is the sacred rhythm of the universe setting your path into motion. It is the old being broken, so the new can breathe. Even the great seer Nostradamus spoke of times when the ground beneath our feet would quake, not to punish, but to prepare. He saw through symbols what we now feel in our bones. Those who rise through disruption do not just survive, they awaken. In moments of collapse, a deeper strength emerges, one that was hidden beneath comfort and control. This is your moment to remember that stability is not the same as alignment, and comfort is not the same as truth. So now the sacred question arises, as you stand in this energetic windstorm of number 5, will you cling to the edge of your familiar life, or will you trust the current that's carrying you toward your higher self? Let the storm come, let it cleanse, let it tear away what is false. Because on the other side of surrender is who you were always meant to be. And so I ask you now, with full reverence, what part of your life are you finally ready to release, so that your soul can rise unchained? Number 11, the gateway of intuition. Now, as the storm of change quiets and the dust begins to settle, a deep stillness descends. The air no longer trembles, it listens, and in that silence, something sacred emerges. Number 11, the master number, the divine whisper that echoes louder than sound. Not just a number, but a gateway, a portal to a realm that cannot be touched by logic, only felt by the soul. In the world of numerology, 11 is never reduced. It stands unbroken, a master vibration that holds space for higher consciousness, spiritual sight, and elevated sensitivity. It belongs to the seers, the visionaries, the quiet mystics who hear the song of the universe when the world goes still. 11 is not for the distracted. It appears to those who are willing to go inward, to listen beneath the noise, to see beyond the veil. This sacred number aligns beautifully with the Buddhist path of the Bodhisattva, the awakened being who, though touched by suffering, chooses compassion, the one who sees clearly, feels deeply, and moves with purpose toward the liberation of all beings. In this way, 11 is not just spiritual, it is soulful, intuitive, and purpose-driven. It calls you to rise, not in noise, but in presence, to trust not in answers, but in awareness. As July unfolds under this vibration, you may feel it before you understand it. A sudden pull toward a person, a dream too vivid to ignore, a knowing that has no reason, yet feels undeniably true. This is the energy of 11 working through you. It is no longer a whisper, it has become your inner compass, pointing toward the next chapter that your conscious mind has not yet read. Baba Vanga, the blind seer of Bulgaria, often spoke through visions and symbols. Her words did not follow logic, but truth pulsed through them nonetheless. She channeled the frequency of 11, receiving knowledge from realms unseen and delivering it to those with open hearts. And now, that same energy reaches toward you, a spiritual invitation, a key turning softly in an unseen lock. But there is a challenge within this gift. 11 does not force, it invites. The door will not swing open unless you step forward. It requires trust in the unseen, faith in the formless, courage to walk when the path is still misted with mystery. This number does not give instructions, it gives signs, and only the attuned will understand. So now I ask you, in this moment between silence and vision, will you trust the direction of your soul, even when it defies the plans of your mind? Or will you stay where it's safe, while the divine waits patiently just beyond your fear? Number 6, the path of service. Now, as the veil between realms thins and the winds of intuition subside, we are led to a gentler place, a sacred hearth glowing softly within the heart. Here stands number 6, the compassionate guardian of balance, the quiet healer of broken spaces. 6 does not arrive with thunder, but with warmth. It brings the energy of family, harmony, and soul-nurturing care, the kind of love that expects nothing and heals everything. In numerology, 6 is the frequency of divine responsibility, not the heavy burden of duty, but the lightness that comes from offering your soul as shelter to another. It calls forth the part of us that knows how to soothe without speaking, to give without losing, to love without clinging. In the sacred teachings of the Buddha, this is the path of right action, a compassion that moves not from guilt, but from presence, a generosity born not from lack, but from the overflowing wellspring within. This August, number 6 comes as a spiritual request, not a command. Perhaps someone near you is silently struggling, a sibling, a partner, an elder who carries invisible weight. You may not be asked to fix their path, but to walk beside them, holding space with patience and care. The universe, in its quiet intelligence, aligns you now, not with noise, but with nurturing, because true spiritual growth is not only found in solitude, but in sacred service. And this service This path of care is not weakness. It is an initiation into deeper power. In Buddhism, karma is not merely fate, it is shaped and softened by the choices of the heart. Every kind gesture is a thread in your liberation. Every act of compassion dissolves a layer of spiritual residue. 6 teaches us that healing flows both ways. When we lift another, we unknowingly heal a long-forgotten wound in ourselves. Nostradamus, the prophet of trembling times, once foresaw an era when logic would fail and only the heart would hold truth. That era is not some distant prophecy, it is now. The world aches not for more ideas, but for more intimate presence, and the number 6 whispers, "Be the hand that holds, the shoulder that steadies, the soul that sees." So pause and ask, not just with your mind, but with your spirit, who am I being called to uplift right now, and what tender part of me will finally be restored in the giving? Number 19, the rising phoenix. And now, through the gentle embers of service, we arrive at the sacred fire. Number 19 emerges, not as a whisper, but as a quiet flame crackling beneath the surface of your soul. It is the number of the rising phoenix, the mystical union of death and rebirth, of surrender and emergence. 19 is the final step before renewal. It holds the gravity of completion and the grace of transformation, asking not for resistance, but for release. In numerology, 1 is the self, the origin, the spark. 9 is the ending, the closure, the transcendence. Together they form a sacred portal, the threshold between who you were and who you are becoming. This is not a gentle passage, it is the firewalk. It is the dismantling of illusion so that truth may live. In the teachings of the Buddha, all that is clung to becomes suffering, and so 19 invites us to uncurl our fingers from the past, not in bitterness, but in reverence. This July, the energy of 19 dances around you with quiet intensity. You may find yourself called to walk away from what once defined you, a belief that no longer serves, a connection that no longer uplifts, a version of you that no longer fits. It is painful, but it is holy. The ashes left behind are not your defeat, they are your initiation into sovereignty. You are not losing, you are shedding, and in that shedding, you are finally rising. Baba Vanga, whose visions often pierce the veil of time, spoke of souls who would be forged through fire. Her words echo now as the flame of 19 burns gently through your resistance. This is not destruction, it is divine alchemy. What you release now becomes the wind beneath your wings. You are being sculpted not by suffering, but by the courage to let go. And so the phoenix within you begins to stir, not from ego, but from essence, not to escape the past, but to honor it. Number 19 is your sacred mirror, showing you what must be released, not to punish, but to prepare. Your future is not waiting in the distance, it is waiting in the letting go. So breathe deeply, stand in the quiet flame, and ask yourself, with honesty and love, what part of me must I release so I may rise fully into the light I was born to carry? Bonus number 77, the double master of spiritual mastery. And now, as the spiral nears its sacred center, we arrive at the echo of the cosmos, the bonus number, the ethereal gift hidden within this sacred cycle. Number 77, a number so rare, so charged with divine voltage, that it does not belong solely to this world. It is not a number that simply guides, it awakens. 77 is the double master, the twin flame of inner truth, the mirrored reflection of spirit recognizing itself through time. In the language of numerology, 7 is the seeker, the sage, the one who walks alone beneath moonlight in search of truth. It is the sound of silence in a temple at dawn, the breath before insight, the pause before prophecy. But when this number is doubled, when 7 becomes 77, something holy happens. It is no longer the student of mystery, it becomes the keeper of sacred codes. The monk becomes the master, the path becomes the purpose, the question becomes the answer. In Buddhist tradition, 7 speaks to awakening through discipline, reflection, and detachment. It is the number of ascetics, of those who transcend worldly illusion in favor of eternal truth. But when this vibration repeats itself, it no longer speaks only to renunciation, it speaks to realization. 77 is a signal that your inner temple has been activated. It is a number that appears when you are no longer wandering, you are initiated. The path is no longer outside you, it is you. This July, the presence of 77 is more than a coincidence, it is a divine decree, a spiritual scroll being unrolled before your soul. The universe is not nudging, it is roaring. You have prepared for lifetimes, you have suffered, learned, wept, grown, and now you are ready. Ready not to fit in, but to stand out as a light in the dim corridors of awakening humanity. 77 is the calling of old souls, the final drumbeat before the march of purpose begins. Even Nostradamus, cryptic as his visions often were, hinted at a time when enlightened beings would rise, not as rulers, but as guides, not as prophets of fear, but as anchors of truth. He spoke of those who carried codes in their blood, wisdom in their silence, and power in their peace. If you are hearing this now, perhaps you are one of them. Perhaps this number is not just around you, it is within you. So inhale the message of 77. Let it dissolve the illusion that you are not ready. Let it quiet the doubt that you must wait for approval. Let it remind you that you were sent here with purpose, and that purpose is now rising like a second sun within your chest. You are not lost. You are encoded. You are not forgotten. You are remembered by the very stars that once watched your soul descend into this body. So pause and ask in stillness, am I ready to embody the ancient purpose I was born to fulfill, even if no one yet sees the light I now carry? The path now unfolds. Now pause, breathe deeply, not just into your lungs, but into the very memory of your soul. Let this journey settle not in the mind, but in the quiet temple of your heart, from the gentle reflection of two mirroring the duality within and without, to the storm-clearing winds of 5, shaking loose the illusions you've outgrown, to the piercing light of 11, guiding you through intuition and sacred foresight, to the nurturing grace of 6, reminding you that healing is not weakness, but power, to the phoenix fire of 19, burning away the old, to reveal your transformed self, and finally, to the luminous doorway of 77, where the cosmos speaks your name and purpose aloud. These numbers are not scattered signs, they are sacred footsteps, each vibration a lantern on the dark path, each symbol a map etched in your energetic field. Together, they form a celestial code, a sequence designed specifically for your awakening. You did not stumble upon this moment. The universe does not waste movement. You were guided here through dreams, through numbers, through quiet whispers that wouldn't let you rest. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where destiny placed its palm upon your back and whispered, begin now. This is more than numerology. This is ancient alignment. This is old Buddhist philosophy, a remembering of who you've always been beneath the noise of the world. So now, the only question that remains, will you answer the call that your soul has already accepted? Type in the comments, with full presence, I am ready, I receive the numbers, I trust my divine path, and let the universe feel the vibration of your yes, because the path does not begin now. It continues, and you are finally walking it with open eyes.